Welcome back to the Baseball Blue Book Podcast, where we focus on the journey, not the destination. Brought to you by the Baseball Blue Book app. Are you in the book? And now, your host, Eric Wilmington. Welcome back to the Baseball Blue Book Podcast. My name is Eric Wilmington, the president of the Baseball Blue Book. Excited to have another podcast today with Coach Brian August from Wilmington University. How are you, Coach?
Good, thank you.
Great. Happy holidays. Hope you had a great break. This is always a fun time or a time to kind of relax for coaches. But now that we're middle of January, it's everything is probably going pretty darn fast. So I appreciate the time that you've given me to sit down and talk to you and about your baseball journey.
Thank you.
Let's go ahead and start with kind of where it started. One of the things that people love to hear is kind of the history and the backstories of the coaches. So I know that you played ball in college. So
I'll go back to high school. Came out of a really good high school out of Delaware called St. Mark's High School. Won a lot of state championships. I actually got drafted out of high school in the 40th round by the Orioles. And back then, which is a big difference now, is they had that draft and follow. So they wanted me to go to junior college. And I was getting ready to go to Allegheny Community College out in Maryland. But late in the summer, I committed to the University of Delaware. Once I committed there, obviously I had to stay there 3 more years. Had a great career there, individually as well as our teams were very successful. And then after my junior year, I got drafted by the Yankees. And I signed after my junior year out of Delaware, and then played 3.5 years in the Yankees organization. My major in college was education. I always my goal was to be a high school basketball and baseball coach. That was my goal. And then once I got into pro ball, I was playing. And then, my old coach, which is a legend, Bob Hanna, retired. And Coach Jim Sherman got University of Delaware job. I was still playing pro ball for the Yankees, and me and him were pretty close. We talked, and he offered me my first coaching job at University of Delaware under him. So It's a tough decision to kind of walk away a little bit from pro ball, but that started my coaching career. 1 year at University of Delaware, we went to the regionals up at Ohio State. The very next year, I got offered a junior college job. Back then, I was a number 2 assistant. It was part-time. And then when I went to Cecil Community College, it was like a dual thing where you're the baseball coach as well as like the assistant athletic director. So I needed a full-time job, starting a family, all that kind of stuff. I stayed there for about 3.5 years, had a great run there, put in for this Wilmington University job. I'm the head coach here as well as the associate athletic director as well.
Okay.
We've had a great run here in my 21 and a half years. Won a lot of conference championships, went to a lot of regionals. We won one regional, went to the College World Series back in 2015. That's basically how it is. I mean, I've wanted to be in athletics and being a coach and all that kind of stuff all my life. And listen, man, I feel like I don't even, work. I go to work every day, and it's not a job. It's fun, man. I'm around athletes, throwing BP, I'm talking, I'm recruiting, I'm developing relationships, being competitive, which was one of my number 1 traits of a player. And, I just love it every day. I mean, we just have practice, So, it's what time is it? 2:00 now. Half of my day was at practice, and then, I got to make a run from there. But, so I feel like I'm lucky. I can say that, very lucky.
Well, it sounds. I mean, you had quite a career even early on, being drafted a couple of times, and you also mentioned that kind of what you wanted to do. Your goal was to be a high school, baseball and basketball coach. Were you a two-way kind of player? Did you play multi sports?
Yes, I played three. I played football. I played everything
Okay.
in high school, and then my junior year, my basketball coach was really close with me. Baseball was definitely my best sport, but basketball we were really good too. And I was, I mean, I thought I was a pretty good basketball player, but you know what I mean. At the next level, it definitely was baseball. He told me that I had to really bear down academically, and if I could drop a sport to really get my academics going and get my body in better shape
Right.
and all that kind of stuff, get stronger. Going into my junior year, I would probably have to drop a sport. So I dropped football then. But growing up, I played all three of those sports from basically 6, 7 years old all the way up, and then high school all the way up to sophomore. Then my junior year, I just played basketball and baseball.
Okay.
And then once I mean, I got a few looks like Division II in basketball as well, but baseball took me obviously where I'm at now.
And you knew, yeah, knowing baseball is kind of what
Talent wise, it was just better. I was
got
better,
it.
and it was going to take me. Yeah, it was definitely.
Okay. No, that
It was easy, but I love basketball. I did coach. It's funny. I went back and when I was playing professional baseball for the Yankees, I was for going back to my old high school. I was the head JV coach in basketball for those 4 years. So loved it. Absolutely loved it. I miss it. I actually miss it. I think basketball, football compared to baseball, and I'm a baseball
uh-huh.
coach. I think you can win in different ways. I think baseball, if you don't have those guys on the mound, if you don't have those
Right.
hitters, you're not really, you can't, you know what I'm trying to say? You just can't
I,
win. It's recruiting, 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 recruiting. And I'm not
yeah.
saying that football, basketball is not getting the better athletes and getting the bigger guys, but I just feel like you can really out execute somebody or outdo this or outdo that. And I don't know. I love baseball, trust me, but I love basketball. I think you can,
It's
I still help out with my kids' team. So,
It's interesting.
as a
It's
dad,
interesting
I
you
can
bring
tell you
that
that.
up because I think what you're saying is you can out scheme somebody in basketball, right?
100%.
There's a lot more X's and O's.
100%.
You can't throw
Yes.
together a play in baseball if you're down by 2 in the eighth
There you
inning,
go.
right? And expect it
Yeah.
to work.
And that's what I really, really enjoy in competing. And I love that. I think you can really put something together. So, but I love baseball. I mean, our overall philosophy in baseball is win that day. I mean, it's
Right.
not one philosophy where, all you do is steal bases or all you do is pitch or all you do is try to hit home runs or all you do is sack bunt or all you do is whatever. But we do everything. And because my philosophy is you know, the wind could be blowing in one day and all you're trying to do is hit home
Right.
runs. So what are you going to lose the conference tournament or lose the regionals in that one game? Or all you can do is do this, or you can't get a bag off their catcher and all you used to do is steal. You know what I'm
Yep.
saying?
Yep.
So I consider, pitching and catching just being consistent. If you're pitching and catch, if you're pitching and defense stinks, you're no good. I mean, it's as basic as that. You can't win 8-7 every
Right.
day. So we consider that just to be consistent every day. Obviously, we're always solid. We like throwing strikes. We don't like walking people. We like making all the routine plays. We hold runners. We don't let people steal on us. We take all those little type of things very serious. And then offensively, we do everything. We led it. We were second in the nation in sack bunts last year. We were third in the nation in steals, and then we were top 10 in batting average. So it doesn't matter, and we had good power. So we try to do everything and win that day, whatever it
I was
takes.
just gonna. I was
Some
just
days
gonna.
you're going to be playing that 2-1
I
game.
was just
and
going to
go from there.
repeat.
So,
Win that day. I like that.
yep.
That's the way to look at it. I had a coach on the other day that was talking about what the difference between baseball and the other sports is. Baseball, you're really not competing against another player, right? Once the ball goes in play, it's the ball, and then it's the players,
It's you.
and it's you.
I listen. I tell the guys, we have to be a team, but it's an individual
Right.
sport. Like your first baseman's not going to just miss it because he don't like you. I mean, you throw it near him, he's going to catch it. It's just that kind of
Right.
thing. You're at shortstop, you got to make the play. You're out in right field, you got to catch it. You got to catch the ball. I mean, it's as easy as that. Pitcher's got to make the pitch. So it's an individual sport. There's nobody else. The guy has to get on base, but you got to drive him in. All that kind of stuff. And that's listen, man. Our kids they buy into what we do. It doesn't matter who's up. Our fourth hitter, if it's 2-2 in the eighth inning and nobody's on, one guy's on, no outs, we're trying something.
Yeah.
I can tell you that. We're not just waiting for him to lose one. We're trying something. He might get a sack, bunt down, guy might get a bag. Who knows? We're putting pressure on the guys. I feel like what pressure is when I'm calling pitches offensively, pressure to me is a guy on second or third.
Right.
That's pressure. If there's a guy on first or nobody on, I'm pretty comfortable. When there's a man on second or third, now you're going, man, I got to really make this bear down, make this thing. So we want to put as much pressure as we can on the other team, try to score that one run an inning, and go from there.
That's great. Well, Coach,
it's been pretty successful.
Well, yeah, it does. And one of the other things that you really talked about is the difference. You can put together a play for other sports, and baseball, it really has to do with recruiting. So when and knowing that and kind of that's your philosophy is, what does that mean for you and your staff when you're looking for the right player? What is the right player for Wilmington University?
I mean, we competitive is up there, no doubt about it. Being a hard-nosed blue-collar player, talent level still runs everything. I mean, you're not just going to go find that guy that's tough as nails, but he can't catch and throw or he can't hit. You understand that. So it's still talent level. We look at the Division II level. A lot of guys do different things because they'll get the guy that's not as big, maybe the athletic 6'2", 205-pound guy. They might get that shorter guy that doesn't get the look in D1. Or they might get that heavier kid that doesn't, he's a little bit too big or something like that. But on our team, if you watch Wilmington University, I try to get the athletic guys that can run, that can hit, and they can play the field, and that's what we're looking for. One thing, I got guys that dominate at this level at 82 miles per hour that have the best changeup around, or I got guys that throw 92 miles per hour. I think that's one thing that I haven't changed. I mean, some people, if you don't pull that gun out and you don't hit that number, they ain't even looking at you. And some of my best pitchers of all time, up in my my All-Americans stuff, have been some lefties that thrown 83, 84, but they could throw that changeup anytime they want. Nobody could run on them. They could pitch. These days it has changed. Guys just want to fire that thing as hard as they can, and a lot of guys forget how to pitch. You know what I mean? Not many people throw change-ups anymore. They just throw it as hard as they can and spin the ball. So they don't care about holding runners. They don't care about bouncing curveballs, all that kind of stuff. Little things. We look for the little things in the game that is going to be the difference. But I look at guys that are good guys that work hard, that care about school, care about being a good person, as well as being very competitive. I tell them when they sign up for this, they're signing up with high expectations. I mean, we expect to go to the regionals every single year, and when you're doing that, the expectations are you're playing a really tough schedule, and we got high demands on a lot of things we do. So some kids don't like that, and some kids just want to go, man, no big deal. I'm going to play center field, bat first, and if we go 15 and 30, that's fine. That's not how it is here, and the guys work their butts off. It's crazy. I just told my wife last night, we had our first practice yesterday, and over at our hitting facility, I went over there, and my son was my oldest son was doing a workout, and I saw his car, so I went down there, and there was probably 20 cars. We just had our first practice. There was probably 25 guys off my team there last night about 9:00. Just working on their game. Right. So to me, it's just special, man. It's crazy, and obviously, the guys ahead of these guys have paved that way to be, what the expectation is, what the work ethic is, and they have a goal, man, every year. I mean, they think they're way better than they are. I can tell you that. So they think they're going to go far. I can tell you that. That doesn't mean anything, but I'd rather have that than a bunch of lazy guys that do nothing. You know that.
No, absolutely. So when you're looking for those types of players, I mean, and there's a real balance, right? The D2, D3, NAI, these other levels, they like you said, it might not be the 6'2", 220 guy, might be this a little smaller, but has the same type of skills. They're also academics has to be something that's very, focused on as well. How do you bring the balance of getting these guys that are out there 9:30 at night, 25 of them ready to go, but then also focused on the academic side? How do you as a coach kind of balance that and make sure that that's important?
I mean, that's all we talk about. I mean, if you don't have your academics done, you're not playing. I mean, do you really want to put yourself in that jeopardy? And I think as a student athlete, everybody talks about being a student athlete. Right. How many guys go on and play pro ball and then make it to the big leagues? That's the number one thing. But they all do pick a school because of the athletics. I'm a baseball coach. We can say what we want. They pick the school because of the team, because of how successful they are. They want to play baseball. If they wanted to go to some academic school, they can kind of do that. My point is, you pick that, so you better get your academics done to do it. We actually had our best team GPA this semester in my 21 years as a team. So I was really proud of that. I think, we hold a high standard, but our school also has like block classes within each semester. So we have like a 7-week block in the beginning of the fall, and then a 7-week block in the end of the fall. So you can take 2 classes at a time instead of 4. You can take 2 and then 2. Okay. Or 3 and then 2. So it is easier when you do it like that, but it's the standard. The class schedule is good. And I get guys that understand what it's all about. I say use baseball also to get your job and go from there, because you can get what grade you want.
Yep.
Once you get into that interview and stuff like that, it comes down to who you know and how you sell yourself. And I get calls all the time as a baseball coach from just most of the time sales and businesses and different things like that. Hey, man, I saw this, tell me about some of your seniors. I was looking on your website. I see this one guy's like a criminal justice major. This other guy's an education major. And they don't care what your major is. Right. They want some competitive people that have been through some tough times and being able to juggle being an athlete as well as their classwork, and, having a schedule where they have to do this, they have to work out, they have to do, and that's tough, man. Athletics is it's tough to be a good athlete and to be a, good student and a good person all together with this world. It's pretty tough. And our guys do a pretty good job.
I've always said, I've worked for some pretty big technology companies, and I've hired people, and I always laugh. You just said exactly what I've said before. I don't really care about what your degree is. What did you do? And baseball players make really good sales guys.
No doubt.
They know how to time manage. They know competition. They know adversity. They know they know what to do after you lose. Right? I mean, if you can close deals at the same rate as a batting average, you're going to make a lot of money.
You're going to go high.
You're going to be a success. So I think it's great to hear your philosophy on that. Excuse me. So beyond the academic side, beyond the competitive side, beyond the loving to play baseball and those things, are your recruits? Do you look outside your region? What are you looking for?
We're basically New York to Northern Virginia, and I start right in Delaware. We got about 4, 5 or 6 schools now around here. I mean, you got University of Delaware, which is a mid-major. You got Del State, and you got Goldie at our own level, and then used to have Wesley College as the D3, and now you got Del Tech. So you got kids around here, got every angle, if that makes sense. Not that many kids from our state go higher than University of Delaware. Is there a kid every year that one slips out to Miami and one goes to South Carolina? You know what I mean? One a year, maybe. That's it. Okay. So you got to go with the guys that, we're recruiting the same guys Delaware is, but sometimes them kids can't get in there or something. Maybe it's their academics can get in Delaware or this or that. So, we work in Delaware, but when we go to Jersey, we go to Pennsylvania, we go to Maryland. And then we, like I said, go up to a little bit of New York and a little bit of Northern Virginia. But we're probably 50% Delaware, I would say. I worked in the Maryland JUCO, which is that's where I was my last job. But I get a lot of JUCO kids from Maryland. I get a lot of JUCO kids from Jersey. And then the transfer portal is huge now, where you can get these D1 guys that went somewhere, and the next thing you know, they're just not playing. You know what I mean? I mean, it's crazy now. So we had probably, this year, I added 3 Division I transfers and 3 junior college kids to a team that was pretty damn good.
That's good.
A lot of returners. Yeah. So, and we're talking about some impact. So we'll see. Granted, there were 1 year, 2 year fixes. Sometimes I personally like getting high school
Hmm.
kids as my core, and that's what I built here this year. From basically when they all came in 2020, all the guys on my team right now are 4 year juniors because they got that COVID year back.
Right.
So we should be pretty good this year, next year, meaning in the returners, and the guys that came through the program that are what is I always say, what is experience? Guys that have won that have been here
Yeah.
a long time and they've won. So that's good experience.
Y-
And we got
You're
that for this year.
you're kind
So
of
and we took some lumps throughout. You build it up, you go through this, that.
right.
COVID was hard to get over. I can tell you that. It was hard to get over. 19, we were loaded. We were in the regional championship. I thought we were the best team in the region, and we got upset by NYT, um, and then COVID hit, and then we couldn't practice, then you couldn't
Right.
lift, then you going online classes, you didn't even see the guys, and then we had guys that just quit, and then we had guys, and then a bunch of transfer. We didn't really know what it
Right.
was. So last year was really our first year we were back to
Hmm.
normal. We won the conference, we hosted the regionals, and that was with a bunch of sophomores. So this year we should be hopefully strong as well. Nothing's guaranteed, but like I said, good experience coming back that I've
That's
won.
great. No, you kind of sound like a professional, major league general manager. Like to build the foundation with your own guys. Throw a couple guys in that can kind of fill some holes and see what we got. So I think that's
No doubt.
good. There's some good things that have come out of the portal from that perspective, and I think that's a positive side. I think some of the negative side is you can get some people hopping around, and I'd hate to be in their situation, in what their expectations. Maybe they needed to be set, that expectation level that may have been out of whack and causing some concerns. So, but it's good that there's always places for kids to play, and I think that's fantastic. What makes Wilmington University unique, Brian?
Well, it's unique. The baseball program is unique because we're hidden over here, man. It's a little
Yeah.
school that a lot of people, Delaware knows us, but even like Pennsylvania and Jersey and Maryland, it's close, but it's just hidden. Like it's hidden back here, and they don't know exactly how that is. Our school is very unique because of our class schedule I talked to you
Yeah.
about, and then our tuition is cheaper than everybody else's. Let me just fire that out. We don't have in-state, out-of-state tuition, um, but it's unique because I think we still have with this new world of everything hitting, everything
Right.
pitching. I still got some. I mix it all in. I still got some old school in me. Um, my coach has got some old school in me. The guys are still got some old school in them, even though, but we go with little
Right.
things. It's not overall. Some of these people are just straight everything analytic, this, that, this, that. So we have pieces of everything, but I think we're unique in that aspect. Um, Tough nose. When teams play us, they know that team's going to be well coached, tough as nails, and we're not going to make the mistakes. They're going to have to beat us. And do you get beat? Absolutely, you get beat. But we're going to be that team every time. They better be ready to play because this team's going to be prepared and going to come at them hard. That's what Wilmington's all about.
That's great. No, it's that win that day attitude, right?
Yes.
Analytics can play in the big picture, but in that day, you can kind of throw some of those things out depending on the situations and what's going on at the time.
Well, I think if we grind it out, two of my biggest things in baseball is, and people are against it, but I hate strikeouts as a hitter. I just don't. I think you get nothing out of it. You put the ball in play, you got a chance to get on base. It's about as easy as it
Right.
gets. When you look back in the big leagues, the last 7 World Series champions, big in the least amount of strikeouts, and they also led the league in the least amount of walks as a pitcher staff. Listen, every time we walk a guy,
Right.
I say it out of the duck. Well, there he goes. How did he get on? He scored. He got walked. How did he get on? He walked. Boom. And we're only giving up 2 or 3 runs a game. Well, think about that.
Right.
So I just think like if you're aggressive in that aspect and you put the ball in play. I think strikeouts offensively is a mindset, and that's just being tough nosed.
Yeah.
So that's different philosophies from other people, but hey, that's just how I look. I think the worst thing in baseball is walking back to that dugout on a strikeout. You got beat. When you were talking about it's not you against the ball, that is the competition.
Yep.
There is one big competition in baseball. Me against the pitcher.
That's true. That is true.
And I ain't getting beat by him. You're going to get out enough. 300 is hard enough. That's 3 for 10, obviously. 4 for 10, you're an All-American. I always say that. You're still stink. You're still failing. But guess what? You ain't striking me out.
That's the honesty of a coach. I love
one stat. I'm not going to talk about myself. I had one stat at University of Delaware my junior year. I got to pull it out every now and then just to make these guys know. But I had more home runs my junior year than strikeouts. So you're not a slapper, if that makes a sense. You know what I'm trying to say? A little bunter that just chips at the ball. You still can have power and shorten up with 2 strikes. That's my philosophy.
That's good. You sound like the old Bull Durham, right? The game's simple. You catch the ball, you throw the ball, you hit the ball.
Not that simple, but yes.
Yes, so that's good. That's good. No, Coach, this is good. So talk about your staff a little bit. Who are the guys that kind of help you run the program and make it successful?
My number one assistant is Jared Carney. He's been here with me for 5 years now. He is my recruiting coordinator, my infield coach, and runs third base. I let him run the whole offense. He calls the bunts, he calls the steals, he calls whatever. I tell him to be aggressive. Obviously, if I just give him a whistle or something like that, we're definitely getting something. He's about 98% of the running the whole offense on the field during a game. And like I said, he does a great job with our infield defense, scout reports. Great young coach. I'll be lucky to hold him for a little bit longer. I can tell you that. He's hot. He's a hot guy coming out. I got 3 more assistants. My other assistant is Dennis Walker. This is great, man. He was the head coach of Salesianum School, which is another Catholic League school that was my biggest rival in high school from St. Mark's. All right. He's older than me, probably, 20 years. He was coaching high school at Sally's when I was playing at St. Mark's. One year we had like an all-star game type of thing, and his team was always good, so he coached the all-star game. And St. Mark's and Sally's didn't really like each other much in many sports. It's crazy. It's just the biggest rivalry in the state. Right. But they, I actually, it was crazy when I was playing, when I was playing pro ball for the Yankees, and at all seasons, I was coaching JV basketball. He was still like an administrator over there at Sally. He still is. He's a teacher. And, I was always like, hey, coach, how you doing? And he was just like, listen, man, if you ever get into anything, man, he retired in coaching. He still teaches over there. And he was like, listen, and when I got that job, he congratulated me and wrote me this letter and blah, blah, blah. He said, if you ever need a coach or anything, call me. I mean, and boom, I called him ASAP. He's been there with me from day one.
Awesome.
Old school. I mean, just a teacher of the game, awesome with the guys. He's just that guy that helps me with the little things I need. Hey, how do I handle this, you think? And he's been already through all that kind of stuff. Tough as nails, but the guys love him. Let's just say this. He's the only guy the guys they call Coach Walk. They call me Og. They call him Jared. They call him Tyler. They call him Coach Walk.
He's coach.
There's a difference.
Yep.
He's the man. And so he's my catching coach, my bullpen coach. He's that guy for us, I can tell you. And then my other assistant coach I just picked up. These last 2 I just picked up this year. A lot of times in D2, D3, I think you know that. But, your other coaches are going to be, on that wheel thing just because guys are moving around and trying to move up and whatnot. Yep. The guy you talked to, his name's Chuck Clausius. He's been a high school coach for 28 years, I believe, at like 3 or 4 different high schools. And he runs a good travel program over there at Titus, and me and him known each other from forever. I had a coach leave last year. He got a job with the Astros, and I was messing with Chuck. I was like, Chuck, man, come on, I got a spot for you. And he's just laughing. He's a teacher too. And, it's hard. It's hard because you're not full time as an assistant. So he finally said yes this summer, and he's been here this fall. He's running our outfield. He's coach at first base, and he's got a lot to do with our hitting and as well as recruiting. But another guy that is awesome for the program. I mean, we for this level on the amount of money they get paid, we are very lucky. And then my last guy is my pitching coach, another first year guy, younger guy. His name's Tyler Hansen. He and he's into the analytics. He's doing a good job.
Yep.
He's really and he's helping us get more involved in that kind of stuff. But he really studies his craft. This is his first college job overall. He's coached some travel ball. He's coached some high school ball, but picked him up and had a relationship with him way back when in a travel program I knew, and now he's running his own. So just another connection, but I think he's really going to take some of our pitchers, to the next level with some of the stuff that he can really do. So we like our staff. Division I, Division II, Division III. Division I, you got those, and I know different people have them, but you got your head, you got your main assistant, your second assistant, then a volunteer. I know a lot of people have that ops guy or blah, 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 blah,
Right.
special this, special that. Division II and III, you can have 20 guys. There's no really rules on that. So we got like a sum of money.
Mm-hmm.
And then, I kind of go down off that. Everybody gets a little bit, but it's not, trust me when I say that, they all have jobs. Jared Carney, my head assistant, has a job at Wilmington in the recruiting department. Everybody else has a full-time job somewhere else. So they got to be flexible and really help us out in that aspect. But I'm really fortunate to have at this level, for the amount of money they make, these 4 guys with me at Wilmington University. I can tell you that.
No, I think that's great. And I always like talking about the kind of the staff, because it really, and yours really shows kind of who you are, right? The old school, the new school. You got some young guys, you got some old school guys, kind of blending those together. And I think it's great for the players.
It's awesome,
right?
They get all kinds of different. They get all kinds of different things, different ages, different personalities, different this, different that. It's. I try to do that, and they and I think because every guy on the team's a little different.
Yep.
So sometimes they relate a little bit better with somebody else or somebody else. You know what I mean? Somebody might not like a loud coach or a yeller. Something like that soft guy. Some guy might be too light.
Yep.
Soft spoken, and then that guy needs for somebody to get up in him to get him going. You know what I'm saying? So we got every different type here at Wilmington, and I'm fortunate, like I said.
That's great. So you're kind of an old school, new school, blue collar, kind of a hard nose kind of program. That's what I'm getting out of this. What's one thing that you do from a culture perspective that kind of brings everybody together? Something that's unique that you brought together, and it seemed the players like it, the staff likes it, and kind of brings everybody to kind of the same place.
I think some of the competitions we do, I think we have something called the Tough Cat Award. We're the Wilmington Wildcats, and they compete. And I put everything you can think about: some weightlifting things, some run things, some academic, some GPA.
Yeah.
I mean, we put everything in there. Some teamwork things, and then at the end of the year, the top 3 guys get something. So I think that's one of the things we do. They know. They know we a lot of things we do in this program is toughness. They know we run like a time mile or something like that. That's crazy, but it scares them. But the guys know about it day one. The first day they committed from some older guy. That's the first thing like alumni comes to. I just had 2 alumni come to practice today, and they say, not running a mile today. I said, nope, we ran it yesterday. But they wanted to know if we were running it. And they hated it. But I can tell you right now, at the end of their career, sometimes where they were, and I talked to them a year later, and I always text guys, how you doing, man? Or they'll call me for a reference or blah, 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 blah. And then I say something and they go, Coach, I'd rather be running a mile today. Just dumb stuff that you think,
Right.
But I think that really brings it together. Everybody that played in this program know that there's a toughness about it that they really do. So I'm not saying it's those type of things, but it's a brotherhood, man. And I love all the weddings I get invited to. Yep. So, I mean, it's crazy. And not just for that one guy, but, I see a group of 15 or 20 dudes there that I ain't seen in a minute, which is awesome, when they have kids, they bring them around. It's awesome. So that kind of stuff is huge for me. They all know, my kids, my wife, I have 3 kids of my own. My wife knows that every year we got 43 kids, not
Right.
3. So you got to have a lot of support at home with that, and we get support from my own family as well as all the families that are here. It's just a big family. That's what we want to be. And you know how it is, heat of the moment games and all kinds of stuff. You go up, down, you get mad at the kid. These guys know I love them and I got their back every single day. I can yell at them 5 seconds ago and I'm
Yeah. No,
we're moving on and we're tough. It's tough love. So they know what it's all about. We're all together. We're trying to win. And then by the end of the year, we're trying to end of their career, basically. We're trying to, they're always prepared. I can tell you that for the real world. Always prepared for the real world, whatever they're going to do. And I always tell them that number one thing you want to be is a leader, which some of you got, is a husband, is a father, is a leader in the work world. So that's our goal for all our guys. And like I said, man, these days, man, there's so much craziness out there. You can get caught up in the wrong thing in a minute. And I think we have some, we put it out there where they're so focused on, having a goal and being a good team and a good teammate and good player and all that kind of stuff hopefully it keeps them on the right track.
They don't have time to do anything else, right?
There you go. That's
Keep
my
them
goal.
busy. Keep them busy. That is absolutely true. I always you look at kids going to college these days, and those that are not part of some type of group. I feel for them because it's just this open chasm of opportunity, and that's not always a good thing.
Bad opportunity sometimes. Yep, you're right.
So having some of those bumpers and some areas that you can bring them in and help mold them, I think that's great. Coach, it's been a privilege talking to you today. Thank you for your time. I know you guys are as busy as can be. Practices are already getting started and things are going well. You said that, I always ask what the season's going to look like. I think you've already answered that. It looks like it's going to be a pretty darn good one.
We hope so.
We're excited to follow you guys and watch the success. Again, thank you, Coach August. I appreciate it, and you have a great day.
Thank you.
Take care.